Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be talking about our systems. I'm so excited to be doing this, and it is our team call tonight, of course. And we are going to be walking through our systems that have been in place for a long time, just getting everybody into a refresher and helping everybody kind of understand how things roll together. And I'll be letting everyone in as we go, but I'll be doing a share screen. So you can look forward to that. And I'm going to share that screen now. Okay, does everybody see this? Yes? I don't know how to move, y'all. There we go. Perfecto. Okay. So the idea behind this, and I want to let you guys know the idea behind this is that we know in this network marketing, okay, it is easy to feel confused, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, but we don't have to feel that way because systems or people fail and systems don't. Okay. And the first time I heard that, it hurt my feelings. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, I don't like that. That makes me feel sad. But it is the absolute truth. If I have a system that is a tried and true system and I'm having an off day, I don't have to be on my A game to use the system and to keep my business moving forward. So that's what is really, really special about this. So this is basically it is a slide deck of a presentation that I did in Nashville. Leanne Beckwith graciously shared this with me. It was wonderful, and we had a great time. So I'm going to actually. I don't even remember how long we got. I'm going to make it faster than that. So I'm going to move faster. And that's why I said bring either obviously I shared this in our team thread earlier a couple days ago, but I'm going to allow you to ask questions. I'm going to move through quickly, but I want you to take notes. And if you have another mentor that you work with one on one, taking notes about things that you want to cover again, all of my OGs know this system. Okay, we're doing this again just to we're all better. Okay, from the first time that this was ever landed on the scene years ago, and this is something that is going to continue to evolve, and I love that about us. So I'm gonna there's obviously going to be things that we don't need to go through, and you'll see what I'm saying. So as you can see, people fail, systems don't. That's the entire point of this. When you have a system, you don't have to be on your A game all the time. You know what you're doing. A perfect example of this is I had a system when I first had new customers join, and it was absolutely atrocious. If the 2025 Sadie, if you would ask 2025 Sadie, it is super embarrassing and awful, but I was able to scale my business all the way to Senior Ruby and very close and, on the way to Emerald using this atrocious system because that's what all we had. Okay. It was an email that I sent and I knew what to do and it made it very easy for me. So creating systems is important. What we're going to go through is this connection and prospecting system, recruitment and duplication system, and a retention and customer support system. And as a reminder, this is available for you to keep, but I think going through it verbally is a really special thing. So we are going to talk about connection and prospecting. Connection and prospecting means when we are taking time to build our pipeline, okay? When we are taking time to make connections, we talk about this a lot. We'll have a posting challenge, right? Using social media to support your prospecting is very, very important. So we are just going to go right through. So the system of prospecting looks like a daily show up on your social media. Okay, this can be varied. Okay, at the time that we did this, stories were not as robust. I don't know. I mean, it continues to evolve and change. It's really actually hard for me to even go back to that time because I want to talk about what's here and now. It doesn't really matter what was before. So showing up daily on your social media, showing your face is very, very important. As much as you can show your face, it's really key. when we are asking people for a shout out post, and that's going to come later in this, okay? When we're asking people for a shout out post, we want them to use their face if they will. Okay. So it's a post daily, it's a connect daily. This is you showing up to touching some of your potentials and your current, VIPs and asking them to show up on social media. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The more people in your organization that are showing up and talking about the product, the more, the more you will make. That's probably a broad stroke, but the easier your job gets. When we get others into momentum, our job shifts and changes, although we never stop prospecting our own folks. Keeping it fresh, right? Avoiding those, regularly updating those contacts. We kind of have talked about how to kind of shake up that algorithm. We have if you need that, comment in the chat. We can kind of tag you in a couple different ways. If you're newer, this is not really an issue for you. You're just getting in there and you're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay. All right. So here's an example. Obviously, we see this, right? I would take a bad the bad example from a brand new person versus a nothing. Okay. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to be like, I want us to think about if we're working with a senior gold leader on our team and they're like, I don't know what's going on. And they're posting pictures like the bad. We say, I want to see your face. I want you to show up. I want you to brand yourself. Okay. If, if we're where we are today, and I think that everybody probably watching this now is wanting more, right? We're going to take a picture like the good, and it's basically like showing our face. It's a clear picture. It's that girl power shirt was so cute. I don't know where it went, but it's not in my possession anymore, but I do enjoy it. So understanding what an algorithm is, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but an algorithm is basically something that will shift and change. We have zero control over it. We have to just try to lean into it as much as we can, meaning talking to people in Messenger and also so obviously we know that Instagram and Facebook are very much connected. There are some things that are disjointed. Guys, our cell phones are even connected. Okay. Like we sadly do. I do see this. So the more that you are connecting with others, the more that your algorithm is going to be shaken up a little bit. And we're going to talk about some things to do that. But an algorithm basically is who sees you and who you see. And so sometimes what will happen is that we have to manipulate and change that with our actions. All right, so obviously I just shared what an algorithm was. I'm going to try to keep this moving. We have all of these. We just shared a more, I don't know why I forgot that this existed, but we just had Janelle create another one. So the newer one that you've seen, I think it's prettier. This was obviously available during this specific convention with the colors, obviously you can see. So having a prospect tracker is a good idea, a way to organize your people. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but you definitely want to do it. Okay. You want to work smarter and not harder. All right. So we've done this a lot on this team. We're not going to stop and do one of these challenges, but because we're doing this training, I will incorporate a green light challenge, kind of a power hour later on in the week. I'm going to kind of see how my week shapes up, and then I'll give everybody, at least 48 hours to try to make that work so that we can do it together. But the green light challenge method utilizes, especially this is great for people who are newer to sharing, but it's utilizing your messenger and it's identifying who is active at that time. And there is a method around how we contact them. And what this does is it gives us the opportunity to hear back from this person a little bit sooner, because if you're active, you're kind of getting that notice, right? You're getting the, you're getting it, you're seeing it. If I'm online and I see a message come in from Megan, or I see something come through from Tiffany, if I'm not in the middle of a green light challenge myself, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to be like, oh, what you want? I'm here right now, so it's the same idea. And we'll explain this a little bit farther into, the week. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because this is a method that will continue to show up on our team. We use this constantly. And if it feels new to you, just pause, put that bookmark, put that pin in it, and we'll get deeper in this later. I just want to work through the entire deck so that you feel like you're getting kind of all these systems. So the prospecting, this is kind of why Greenlight works. It creates an environment where you don't have contact fatigue. Okay. Where this is how we're very much leaning into messaging. It gives us the opportunity to connect, not just about Plexus. And so we love that. We love loving people. We love leaning into conversations. If we see somebody that we think, oh my gosh, she'd do great on Plexus, but I've got a girl, I've not spoken to her since college. Like we've got to warm up. We've got to warm up that connection. We've got to see what she's doing now. What we knew about her before, she would have been great, but let's learn a little bit more now. So we will again dive deeper into this method. So please put a pin in this as we continue to move through. So obviously in the thing, we did that. Okay. So we're going to move into recruitment and duplication. And this is where you're going to see things that you've already seen. You don't know that you've been in the middle of a system, but that's what you've been in the middle of is a system, a recruitment and duplication system. So the prospecting, really what I want you to see is that this is like each system feeds into the next system. Okay. And you're constantly moving people through the process. And you've been doing it, you just don't know that you're doing it. And we're just naming it today so that you can start to formulate around like, oh, wow, I actually am more organized than I thought. I've got it together a little bit more than I thought. And I know that thought helps me. Okay. I like feeling like I got it a little bit more together. All right. So basically, we are going to move into talking about our sharing system, how to teach duplication, planning and executing regular events, setting expectations with this consistent team schedule. And I will tell you that what has really spurred me to do this content tonight was when I was at corporate, no one there believed that they had a system. And that was just flooring to me because I know that the teams that they come from are great teams. I mean, obviously they're ranking up, they're doing the things. So what swelled me with pride was like, we've got this. I mean, we do this. We do this. And I want us, and especially our new leaders, our emerging leaders, to absorb this and incorporate the thought that it's happening. And also our more tenured leaders, like, y'all, we know what to do. Like we got this, baby. We know what to do. Okay. So we're just gonna walk through it quickly. Um, your sharing system is a simple method of operation that takes current contacts and feeds them into an event to share information. You might have heard me say something like a continuous invitation, right? If I'm the person who coaches you, you've heard me say that, or I say it to everybody. Okay, you don't have to be by level 1 to hear that, but continuous invitations. And so it's really taking a potential, okay, and it's driving them into an informational event. This can look like driving them in to meet your sponsor, driving them into a three-way message, driving them into a call. It's just that simple. So it's all the people that we're connecting with, and we're funneling them through a continuous invitation. And also another method for this is our add tag message utilizing our wellness community. So maybe you've tried to invite them to a call, they're not going, you want to get them on the phone with your sponsor, they're not going, and you give them a little time, you let them air out a little bit, and you go back to Sharon and you're like, Sharon, you'll never believe this, but I actually ran across a story that reminded me so much of you, and it's actually in our product community page called the Wellness Community. Could I add you and tag you in that? Again, you have created an opportunity out of a dead zone with an invitation. Okay. And so as much as we have a system, you're gonna, you might have a sharing system where you invite, they say no, or you invite to a messenger event and they still don't join, and you can just keep them in that sharing system, and you just want to use creativity for that. Okay, obviously here's examples: three-way message. um I don't know what this picture was. Obviously using Facebook Messenger, this doesn't make sense to me. Oh yeah, I see. Okay, a Facebook Messenger event, obviously that makes sense to me now. um a webinar, okay, and then obviously an in-person event. In-person events are incredible for people who have had a great opportunity or a great experience on the products, someone who's wanting to make extra money, that kind of a thing. There's constant event examples, but reminder that that can look like a phone call, that can look like a Zoom, that can look like a lot of things, that can look like meeting you for coffee. But a continuous invitation into something is how you continue to drive your prospects in, and you don't ever stop. And as I've said before, just because they become a customer doesn't mean the invitations stop. They look differently. That's it. So at this point in the prospecting game, we're inviting them to learn more and inviting them to learn more and inviting them to learn more. Okay. All right. Obviously, you've seen this before. This is, typically our calendar. If I were to design it, I would have Sunday over in front of Monday, and I would say, obviously team call, but starting the invitations into the Thursday event, right? But I don't want you to pigeonhole yourself if you love a Wednesday. If a Wednesday is what works for you, or you love utilizing your sponsor for one-on-one conversations. This, while there is a system, I want to give you the freedom and the wings to create your own system if you want, if, you know what I mean? If for whatever reason you're like, we always kind of focus on the Thursday event, but my what's best for me is a Friday something. What's best for me is a Saturday Zoom. What's best for me, this can work for you. But I want you to understand that having a method of operation is going to give you the ability to scale your business as your life continues to be busy, as your team gets bigger. I chatted with a gal, her name's Jenna. She's absolutely gorgeous. She was like, I can't do this. I can't do more. I can't do more. I can't do more. That's what she said. And so we really broke down what she was believing about her business and herself, and what it looked like. And what we got down to was that she didn't have a system, she wasn't organized, she felt out of control, she was taking on more at work. This is happening with her kid. He's getting more busy, and it was like this. And I said, it's never going to get easier, you're going to get better. And if you have a system, you're not going to feel bad for not checking your phone 24/7 all the time. It's when you don't have organization around what you're doing and you don't know what you're doing and where you're going that you feel like you're failing. And it was really helpful for her. And it made me think, how many people on our team potentially are believing something like this about their business when all they have to do is elevate themselves, get better, utilizing the tools that we already have. And I want that for you guys. So that's why we're here today. This is an example calendar. Take a mental picture, just keep it if you like, discard if you don't. This obviously talks about duplication. And what I want to show you is that duplication and can simply look like, okay, Thursday event, you can't see me pointing, but Thursday event, okay, they've got, this sale kind of following the event, right? We've got this like joining blitz. Okay, if we can think about it like that. And then over the weekend, we work up a posting challenge for people that are happy, people who haven't posted yet, people who, and what happens is all of a sudden our organization, our personal organization, Jody's, Amanda's, Tiffany's, Megan's, that's who I'm looking at the top here. I can't see everybody else. That's where everybody's faces are. All of a sudden, their organizations get legs into other networks because we're asking them to post. We're asking them to connect us into a three-way message. We're asking them who they know. And so that's where duplication comes from. And I wanted to back up. When you see posting challenge, you'll kind of see that we love doing that. Duplication is what creates momentum. right? We have personal momentum, and that is literally what drives the boat, okay? But the duplication creates momentum because as we have a system to filter, feed people into, right? Okay, not only are you putting people into Thursday, but you're going to your, couple gals that you were working with over the weekend, and you're saying, like, hey, who do you think could you think of two people to come to Thursday? Could you register for Thursday, right, friend? And then who are two people that you could invite? And all it is feeding people into what's already happening. Okay? It's already
Mhm.
happening. And then when you decide you're like, well, I really like doing this and I really like creating this content for my team, you can do that. You can do that, but I just want to encourage you, if you keep it on a regular calendar, your team knows what to expect. Okay. If we all know where we're rowing and what to do, we know how to be successful. And we don't have to be on our A game 24/7. We can have a crappy night's sleep. We can do all those things. Okay. So another thing I want to mention, and we cover this constantly, guys. So I'm gonna gloss over this, but after the event that you invite them to, you're following up, right? Prior to the event, especially if it's a messenger event, especially if it's a corporate Zoom, especially if it is more of a even a Facebook launch party, something like that. You are, uh, you know, grooming them. Oh, can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to, don't forget it's tonight. And then afterwards, you're going to follow up. Okay. And that's how we're going to close the deal. And here is a simple shout out post. If you don't know what to say, I want you to take a picture of this. Obviously, this obviously this is available on our obviously this is available in our leaders chat, but I can also email it to you, obviously. Okay. Take a picture if you want to. And here we go. We're going to keep moving through here. Okay, here is a simple way to invite to a three-way chat. If you struggle with having language, um, take a screenshot of this. And when you take a screenshot, my incredible friend Jody taught me that you can save it as a picture and then copy the text and paste it somewhere else, which is incredible. I'm sure that that existed a long time ago and I did not know until recently. So, I know we're moving fast and we will talk about this as I just want to get through the content and then we can ask questions. So as we get these people to say yes, what's the most important part to keep our residual income is the retention and the customer support. And if I had to say what I feel like the only issue that we have that is less than perfect is that part. And if you could lean into this part and listen, we are the dreamers and the doers. We are the recruiters. We are the shiny things chasers. We are the shiny things getters. We are the rank uppers. Okay. We do all the things. And I want us to remember that taking a couple of those extra steps, and listen, I am in no ivory tower over here. I am right there with you. Okay. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And I'm here for this conversation of leaning in and getting more intentional with retention if you feel like this is an issue for you. If you don't, lovingly just unsubscribe to, feeling like you need to change it. But if you need support or you want support, we're all doing this together. Okay. All right. So obviously the root of lasting legacy income resides in how you support that sale with Plexus. Okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of my very longest term customers became a business builder after like 8 or 9 years of using the product. Amanda Lyman, that was Tanya. Amanda Lyman used the products for 8 years. Okay. Megan used the products. She came back. And so it's all about how we treat people who are taking the products and supporting them. Ultimately, guys, here's what I want to tell you about this part is you can only control your part. So I am not here to tell you if somebody chooses to be subpar with their own routine, if they choose not to show up to their own routine, you can't control it. But what you can control is how you follow up, how you listen to, any kind of obstacle, lean into it. We've got an entire team of people that can help with your retention. We are here all together. That is so powerful. I can't even handle it. Okay. So just know that going into our leaders thread and asking a question or saying, okay, well, I kind of screwed up and I didn't follow up with this person and now she's this and how can I fix it? We're all in this together because the more pay points that Marie has, that's more success and tenure that she can pour back into the group. And I'm serious, right? The more successful we all are, the better we all get. So we are in this together. So as far as retention and customer support, we're just establishing that system. Okay. We're maintaining that concept. Remember when I talked about continuous invitations for potentials? We're also doing it for business builders. It just looks different. We're also doing it for happy customers. It just looks different than a potential, right? You might say, oh my gosh, hey, Amanda, I know you've been so happy on the product. You'll never believe this, but I'm actually going to be in your area. I would love to have a coffee with you. Are you free? Right? It takes $0 to reach out and ask, but it meant everything to that person. Okay, so maybe you're not going to, maybe you're not living locally to these people, but finding creative ways to support or include, tagging them in something, even if it's non-Plexus related, that just help them to know that you're thinking of them is a great thing. It's a continuous invitation into a deeper relationship with Plexus. You're going to have customers, guys, that basically tell you to go fly a kite for years about the business. They're not going to be interested. They're like, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. I've got somebody, I went to kindergarten with this person. Okay. She literally like reversed her gestational diabetes and avoided medication. She has so many testimonies with these products, will not share a thing. I'm like, you're crazy. I don't even understand it. It just seems crazy to me. But I keep inviting her. She said, she's like, don't keep inviting me. I'm like, I'm not gonna keep inviting you. And I keep that relationship alive, obviously, because I love her as a person. We love our customers. The thing about our business is that our customers came to us because they trust us. There is something about us that they're willing to talk about their poop with. They're willing to be intimate and open. They're willing to say things to us that they probably wouldn't say to, the average person on the street. And we've got a troubleshooting guide, and I will tell you that this troubleshooting guide that you're going to see here is a pinned post in our team page, Dreaming of Diamond Success Line. Okay, you're going to see it and be like, oh my God, I love that. It's already pinned for you. Okay, so don't worry about it. It's there, and you'll see it here in a minute. So obviously, we know, have you ever had bad customer service, and how many people did you tell immediately? Right? How quick was your Facebook post about it? Okay. I don't want that to scare you because we are human beings and I've never, there's a couple scathing, reviews that I've seen, but I think in general, what we want is people to just feel loved and cared for. Right? We want them to feel like we're going to fight for their health, but we are going to honor where they're at. Right? We're going to hold that space for wherever they're at. I would say that my customers know that I'm going to shoot them very straight. But if they say this is not for me, love ya. It's okay. It's okay. But I'm also going to love you enough to tell you that we're not going to change where we're at without changing where we're at. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you guys are the same way. Birds of a feather flock together. Duh. Here's a customer care tracker. We have 52 million of these available at this point. This was done in 2022. No, nope, 2023 in Nashville. And so if you like this one, I can get you this one. If you like those colors, if you want more aesthetically pleasing colors, we have those too. We have them everywhere, but this is just an example of a way to keep your information organized. Okay. All right, so this is, if you want to take a screen, I don't know if you want to take a screenshot of this, but this is what customer support can look like. Okay, it's the product check-ins, which we're very aware of, invitations to learn more. Bless you, I saw a sneeze. Okay, so this is a little antiquated. We don't have a Plexus Pivotal community Facebook page anymore. Pivotal died. Okay. But we do have the wellness community, which I think is even better and has longer tenure than that pivotal program. So I'm gonna insert wellness community here. Obviously utilizing that customer support page. And you might be on a team that has another page too. Okay. You might be on a team that has another page. I love our wellness community, but certainly if you want to create that own community, that's okay too. There's no one way to do this, but do not reinvent the wheel, especially if you're rolling, don't feel like you've got to stop and do something extra, right? I want you in general, I gave this speech like 3 times. I want you to create resources that there's a gap, that you have a gap for. I don't have this. I don't have access to this. I don't have something that I'm in alignment with. So if you like our customer page and you just want some different things added to it, please add to it. Anybody can add to that, right? But I don't want to stop you from doing your own, but I want you to think, okay, this is already in existence. But then there's going to be something, trying to give an example. Maybe you want to do a product call with your own team and you want to do that every Sunday or every Monday at this time for 15 minutes. You want to cover one product and we're not doing something like that, or you want to step out and do your own leadership. I love that for you. But just be aware of the resources that exist so that you're mastering your time and you're able to lean into the gifts that are going to connect the most and help you duplicate the best. Okay. So then the last one is obviously the troubleshooting guide, and you're going to see it here. Look at this. I can't believe that corporate approved this. So they did. And this is available on our team page, but this is a great flow chart that you can keep, that kind of walks you through what to say initially. How are you loving Plexus? Noticing any changes, difference, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Oh my gosh, celebrate. Tell me more. And kind of checking on some things. No, ask a question. And so kind of it walks you through that. Okay. This is a little bit of an older chart. So we obviously don't have Joyome anymore. I'm trying to think. There might be some things that aren't. I think it's only Joyome that's not available anymore. But it is a good guide, especially if you print it out, especially if it's kind of the more that you do this, the more this is going to be like the back of your hand. Think about something that you do at work right now that when you were starting, you were like, this is so hard. Like, I can't do this. And then all of a sudden now you're like, it's rolling off your tongue. This is the same idea. So if you love a visual, please print this off, and don't be afraid to use that. So, okay, that doesn't exist anymore. Customer support revolves around continuous invitations, is what we've said. So, continually, like if somebody's been happy for years and years and years, you want to, maybe monthly check-ins, maybe bi-monthly check-ins, maybe sometimes your check-ins are just, relationship based. Other things you can do is just tag them in a testimony. If they're not a sharing person, you can continue to groom that conversation however you want to. So, no one, it's never going to look the exact same with everybody, but ensuring that you have a system means that you know what to do at every step. Okay. You know what to do at every step. So here's the summary. If you want to look at this, we do this, you do this already. I want you to feel good about yourself that you do this already. But when we can name it, we can look at how we're doing each system, understand that they all flow in together. Because if I'm connecting and prospecting and I'm adding that person into a call or adding that person into a party or whatever, and they're joining, they've already been through that system and we invite them to invite. Does that make sense? So they've already been a part of something whatever you're going to be asking them to do by adding somebody into a party or into a call, they've been a part of it. The detrimental piece is that when we're not doing it, it's kind of like, why do you want me to meet your sponsor? That's kind of weird. Like that, we haven't done it. So starting today, whatever that looks like for you, or you never asked me to be on listen to the corporate call or whatever, but we can start today. We can start now. Okay. There is no wrong time to start getting better and being more effective. So obviously, as they join, we move into their customer retention and support, and it's just a constant, and that customer retention and support never ends. It never ends. The best, or the what can happen is that because they, are a happy customer, they may start the process of prospecting and connecting and all those things, right? So this is just a continuous continuum of how to move people through the system. Okay, so this was a call to action. We're done. We made it. Okay, I did it in 37 minutes. Whoop whoop. Okay. I know that was fast. I definitely didn't want to. I'm gonna see if can you share the verbiage you use about business after you sign someone up? Where's Marie? Marie, do you mean when I sign someone up, what I'm saying about them inviting somebody or if they know somebody? I don't know if she can hear me. Yes. Okay. So I think it really, again, this is going to be the less popular way to say this, but I think it does come down to the person. I think we can always go back to the conversation if we don't have it. But I really encourage, especially if I'm the sponsor in a three-way message, I'm basically saying like, who who would you know? Really more of what I do, instead of bringing up the business, more of what I lean into is I'm so excited for you. If I gave you what to say, would you be willing to talk about starting your journey on social media? Right? It's more of like that. Um, or, there's plenty of ways to just ask, like, do you feel like you could get excited about getting your products paid for? If they are having price issue throughout the process, of course, I'm going to be bringing up the business. Okay. If they just signed up and they were like ready to go and there was no concern with that, I would be just asking them to post on social media, because what happens is when that action is done, it invites that participation from the social network that is going to convince them on their own, potentially, right? They're liking, they're getting comments, and all of a sudden I'm going back to the person and saying, oh my gosh, like there are so many people that are excited about this with you. Let me teach you how to, follow up with all these people. I'm so excited. And, you might be able to get some customers with this. Like, how would you feel about it? I think it has to feel like natural next steps to the person instead of like a canned spiel. If they talk about not being able to afford it, or if they talk about this being expensive, that is my invitation to bring up the business. Okay. If they're like, this feels expensive, or I hope it works. And, then I immediately go into, listen, the last thing we want is for you to have to come out of your pocket and choose between getting healthy and choose between getting healthy and being able to, afford this, or being out the money. If I gave you what to say, would you be willing to post on social media and let me help you find some accountability partners? Because not only are, plenty of people in your social network definitely in the same situation as you, not feeling well, everything that you've described, and obviously you would kind of reference what they said. Or, I know you've got family members that you could help. But it really is very easy to recoup the cost of that. So if I gave you what to say, is that something you'd be open to? Again, what I want you guys to understand is that we are asking the question. Wait, Megan, say it. Say the thing. It was, I offer solution. No,
Yeah, I give you a, what does it say? I give you
it was so good. I have it on our messy app.
options.
You make
Oh,
decisions.
yeah, and you make decisions or something like that.
No, 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 no. I give you the recommendations, you make the
Hmm.
decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we want. Thank you. I totally
Sorry.
not prepared. I wasn't, I don't know. Um,
Wait, it was something about solutions. I wrote it down, Sadie, because you told me.
Yeah, I have it in our messy action. I'll basically take a
It
picture.
was,
Yeah.
it's so good. I can't remember it right now, but I do have
I
it on
know.
my desk.
I
No,
know
it's
it's hard, but I got it from my when I was doing Peloton regularly,
yeah.
and one of the coaches was like, oh, suggestions. I make suggestions and you make decisions. I think that's it.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Mhm.
I make suggestions and you make decisions. So, guys, I want that to be like tattooed on your brain cells, right? We make suggestions, they make decisions. We are the ones that have to suggest the options that they have, right? And that's exactly what this is. Like, hey, I've got a solution for what you're the problem that you're talking about. Like if we're talking about money or we're talking, what all the problems that could come up, for people, we're all humans. But I think if we give ourselves that grace of like all we're doing is suggesting, right? They're the ones that have to make the decision. But back to that, Marie, just to recap, if money is a concern, I'm definitely bringing up the business side. Okay. I'm still bringing up the business side. If it's not an outward concern, I'm just backdooring it by saying, will you post about this? Will you shout this out? Will you say something about this? And I do the hard things too. I asked a mom from school to post her pink drink on her stories, and she did, and I almost died. I was sweating when I saw it. I was like, oh my God, I did it. So obviously we're in this together, and we just have to keep, ticking forward and using that system and make a list, right? And we actually have those lists, those onboarding lists, that I can dig one of those up, a mini system within the system. But what things that you want to do once they're getting their products purchased. Another thing outside of the post, if they're not interested in posting, they're like, no, I don't think so. Like, okay, no problem. Do you know anybody that like struggles with diabetes like you do, like in your family? Is there anybody that you feel like we could bless with this? We could definitely do it quietly. If you wouldn't, if you don't want to, obviously, if they're saying they don't want to post, the idea is just to constantly offer them the opportunity to find an accountability partner. And we can use the statistic of 80% more effectiveness, 80% more success if they're able to find someone to do it with. Because how many times are we willing to quit on ourselves? You don't even have to tell me. I know. Okay. I know. We're so willing to quit on ourselves, but we're not willing to quit on who? Our kids, right? Our neighbor that's waiting for us outside to do a walk, even though we've got cramps. Okay. Our friend that's meeting us at the gym. We're like, oh, she's gonna be there and I'm not gonna be there. I mean, I don't know how many times I texted a friend and been like, I'm so sorry, I can't come. You know what I mean? And we have that responsibility to other people differently. That's why this team dynamic is so special, right? It's like, well, I don't really feel like showing up today, but you know what? There's somebody out there that needs to see me show up. And so I'm going to keep showing up because not every day we're going to be motivated, but every day we can be determined. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Who has a question about anything that I posted, or excuse me, that I covered about the systems?
Can you say that thing again when you're like, when it's about cost and being healthy, you're like, you don't need to choose between getting healthy and what?
Yeah. We don't want anyone to have to choose. Jody, you say this better. Why am I done? I feel very not wordy right now. Say it.
You basically you just say we don't want to make this a budget line. We don't want to have to make this a monthly budget line for you. So will you allow me to help you, share with a few friends so we can make that possible where you don't have to worry about it monthly.
We don't
That's,
want you to have to choose between getting healthy and,
Mhm.
your financial responsibilities.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really just a conversation of everyday real things, real life. You don't want people to have to think about having to get four new tires or a
Right.
emergency bill,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're juggling, and what's going to have to go sometimes is what they feel like is their health, their supplements, and we want to make it where that doesn't happen.
Well, because the mommies for sure are the ones that are ready to
Absolutely.
just throw it down and just be like, no,
Yeah.
never mind.
I
No.
can't do it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember too, the verbiage of is the price more expensive than the long-term cost of not doing anything, you know?
Mhm.
And we know that the long-term cost is greater. So how can we help you recoup? you
Mhm.
know, your initial investment so that you have a couple months to see how this could show up for your health. And obviously, if we get them moving, very rarely do they stop at 3, you know, once they see that success. Very, very rarely. Now, some will. I mean, someone would be like, oh, I made my, you know, $300 and that's all I needed. And, you know, then they're feeling better. And so then it's worth that budgeting. It's worth that getting rid of that coffee, you know, that coffee, you know, out and about and all those things. So, you know, I do think we need to help people see that vision of like the long-term cost of staying where you are is really detrimental. Guys, sidebar, especially when we're dealing with people who have autoimmune issues, we know they mushroom. Okay. How many people do you know that say, well, I got Crohn's when I was 12, and then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's at 20, and then I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. It's because once you open the floodgate of that autoimmune response, right? The intestinal permeability starts finding new, you know, new playgrounds, I guess, in the body. And so we definitely want to help them, especially those people that are really, really sick, to say, you know, I know the cost is the cost, but, or excuse me, the price is the price, but the long-term cost, I don't want to see where you are in another year. You know, you know, if I help you, if I teach you what to say in a post, will you be willing to post on social media and tag me and see who we can help in your social network so that you can have accountability partners, recoup the cost, and you know, not have to choose.
Sadie,
Yeah.
I've just noticed with helping new shares, um, they feel so much better. Just they don't know what we know, and sometimes we assume they know the things, but they don't. But I think just the very gentle, I'm right here with you. Like,
Yes.
I'm right here. We're
Stay
right here.
together.
We've got Jody, we've got Sadie, we've got all of these people because this community is so foreign to people that have done any other MLM or direct sales or whatever, or even a corporate America that they've come from.
Sure.
And so when they realize that, hey, these people aren't just going to throw me to the wolves and say, have at it. I think that mind shift for me this last, year and a half is year has really been helpful. Like we're right here. We're
Hmm.
not going anywhere.
Yeah. No, agree. And obviously, you know, a lot of it too is just they've got to take that leap so that they can see it too, you know, and we just have to just continue to love them into those, you know, using those continuous invitations to, you know, encourage them. So I'm excited. I'm going to stop recording.